because the area under this VCRS is more. So this area is more, right? This area 2 dash 2 double dash, this area is more. So this much amount of heat rejection is more in the vapor compression refrigeration system than in the your reversed Carnot cycle. So we can say that this is equal to, so we can say if you subtract this, then this area is the more heat rejection in the vapor compression refrigeration system, and it is known as, this area is known as superheat horn. This is known as superheat horn. Because of the superheating, this much amount of heat is rejected more in case of vapor compression refrigeration system than in case of reversed Carnot refrigeration system. So this is the case. And why this is so? Why this heat rejection is more? We already see that the refrigeration effect is less in VCRS, right? And heat rejection is more in VCRS. So we can say that this heat rejection is more in case of the vapor compression refrigeration system than the Carnot cycle, because of the replacement, or because you modify the isothermal heat rejection process with constant pressure heat rejection process. This is because of this change in the process of heat rejection. In the Carnot cycle, the process is the isothermal heat rejection process, but in your vapor compression refrigeration system, it is constant pressure heat rejection process. That's why this is more. So we can say that the heat rejection is more and the refrigeration effect is less, right? So we can say that the net work input to the vapor compression refrigeration system is more than that of the Carnot cycle. Because you know that from the first law of thermodynamics, if I write here, from first law of thermodynamics for a cycle, if I write first law of thermodynamics for a cycle, what is the first law of thermodynamics for a closed cycle? That is, the summation of all the heat transfer will be equal to the summation of all the work transfer. This you know. So what is the summation of all the heat transfer? That is heat supply minus heat rejected. This is equal to work. This is only compressor work, WC minus WC. So we can say that here there is no concept of turbine, right? There is no concept of turbine here. So or you can say that it is W net, and if I say, okay, let us say minus WC, or let us say WT minus WC. No confusion must be there. WT minus WC, right? And we know that if I take the minus sign, then QR minus QS, or in place of QS, what I can write? I can write refrigeration effect. Heat supply is the refrigeration effect, is equal to WC minus WT, that is net work done. That is net work done. And as per our discussion, we know that for the vapor compression refrigeration system, heat rejection is more, refrigeration effect is less, so the W net is more for the vapor compression refrigeration system. So we can say that the net work done of the vapor compression refrigeration system, net work which we have to give to the vapor compression refrigeration system, is more than the net work required for the reversed Carnot refrigeration cycle. W net is required to be more. And you know that what is the COP? COP is refrigeration effect upon net work done, right? COP is refrigeration effect upon net work done for the vapor compression refrigeration system with compared to the Carnot system, refrigeration effect is less, W net is more, so COP will be less. Right, both of the factors will try to reduce the coefficient of performance. That's why we can say that the COP of vapor compression refrigeration system is less than the COP of Carnot cycle when working between the same temperature limits. The temperature limits must be same. So that's why the COP will be less in case of your vapor compression refrigeration system between the same temperature limit. So this is the reason. Now we have to find out how much is the net work done increased, how much work is more required for the vapor compression refrigeration system than the Carnot system. We will find it out. Now let us find what is the COP of the reversed Carnot cycle and COP of your standard vapor compression refrigeration system. Now let us say that we already know that this cycle 1, 2, 3, 4. This cycle is standard vapor compression refrigeration system, and the cycle 1, 2 double dash, 2 dash, 3, 4 dash. This is reversed Carnot refrigeration system. We already see that what is the refrigeration effect of both of the cycle, what is the heat rejection for both of the cycle. Now let us move towards the W net. So first of all, if I solve for the reversed Carnot system, reversed Carnot cycle, let us first solve for it, reversed Carnot cycle. So we can say that for this cycle, the net work which is required by this cycle, let us say we'll write here Carnot. The net work will be equal to heat rejection minus refrigeration effect. This we know from the first law of thermodynamics for the Carnot cycle. We know this. So from here we can say that the net work required by this Carnot cycle will be equal to, if you see here, what is the heat rejection for the reversed Carnot cycle? The heat rejection is, if I extend this for this up to the entropy axis, if I project all of these points to the entropy axis, let us say like this, we name it C, D, E, right? So you know that what is the heat rejection for Carnot cycle? You know that this area, for this 2 double dash 2 3, this area is the reversed Carnot heat rejection, that is 2 double dash 3 C E, this area. What is the refrigeration effect for the Carnot cycle? If you remember, if you recall, what is the refrigeration effect from 4 dash to 1, this area is the refrigeration effect. So this will be equal to 4 dash C E 1, right? So this 2 dash 3 C E, this complete area is the heat rejection. This C 4 dash 1 E, this area is the heat supply or refrigeration effect. So if I minus this heat rejection area from this area, refrigeration effect area, I got net work done. So what is the net work done? Net work done is the area 1, 2 double dash, 3, 4 dash, right? So the net work done is the area, which area? 1, 2 double dash, 3, 4 dash, 1, 2 double dash, 3, 4 dash, 1. This is the area of net work done for this reversed Carnot cycle. We know this. Now if I solve for the vapor compression refrigeration system, let us say for the standard VCRS, if I solve, so we can write that similarly the net work required for vapor compression refrigeration system will be equal to heat rejection minus, or right, you can say refrigeration effect for vapor compression refrigeration system. So if you recall that what is the heat rejection for vapor compression refrigeration system? What is the heat rejection for this process? 2 to 3. So this area 2 to 3 CE2, this area is the heat rejection, right? So the heat rejection is the area 2 3 CE2. This area is the heat rejection. And what is the refrigeration effect for vapor compression refrigeration system? Refrigeration effect is 4 to 1. So this area 4DE1, 4DE14, this area is the refrigeration effect. So if you see, this area is the refrigeration effect and this area is the heat rejection, then what is the net work done? You can easily find out what is the net work done. If I highlight that, if from this complete area we have to minus this area, so we can say that the W net for standard vapor compression refrigeration system will be equal to which area? 2 3 CT4 1, right? This area 2 3 CD4 1. This area is the net work done for the vapor compression refrigeration system. This area, because from this complete area we have to minus this area. So if I show here that this area will be the net work done for the vapor compression refrigeration system, right? So from here, if I say, if we solve that, what is the difference between, if I say that net work done for vapor compression refrigeration system minus net work done for Carnot cycle, this will be equal to how much? If you say that what is the net work done for reversed Carnot cycle is this area 1 2 double dash 3 4 dash, this area is the net work done for reversed Carnot cycle. For the vapor compression cycle, this area 2 3 CD4 1, this area. If from this area I minus this area, then what we'll get? We get two areas, this one and this one. These are the extra areas, right? So if you minus this net work done of VCRS minus net work done of Carnot cycle, what we get? We get the area that is 2 double dash 2 2 dash 2 double dash 2 2 dash plus area, which area? This one 4 dash CD4, right? This is 4 dash CD4, this area. And you know that what we name it? We name it this area, let us say A1, and this area let us say A2. That is the superheat horn, this is the throttling loss. So you can say that from this you write that the net work done of vapor compression refrigeration system minus the net work done of Carnot cycle will be equal to area A1 plus area A2. Area A1 plus area A2, this area and this area, right? So this is the increase in the network input which we have to give in the vapor compression refrigeration system. So the net work done also increase. We already say that net work done increases, and how much increase? The loss. These are the losses. This is the loss because you see, this is the loss because we replace the isentropic expansion with the isenthalpic expansions, and then because of this irreversibility, this is the loss. This loss is because of the replacement of this isothermal heat rejection process with this constant pressure heat rejection process. So this is the loss because of that, and we know that this is known as superheat horn. So because of these irreversibility, some losses are there. So if you know that if there are some losses, then the net work input which is required to run the system, to run the refrigerator system, then it will increase. So if I write from here, if I summarize this, then we can say that we already know that the refrigeration effect of vapor compression refrigeration system will be equal to refrigeration effect of Carnot cycle, if you remember the earlier discussion, minus which area? Minus area A2. Minus area A2, right? If from this area, if I minus this, then we will get the refrigeration effect of vapor compression refrigeration system. And if I write that the net work input for the standard vapor compression refrigeration system will be equal to the net work input for the Carnot cycle plus area A1 plus area A2 plus area A2. This we know. From here you can write this one, right? So if I write from here that the COP of vapor compression refrigeration system, that is equal to refrigeration effect divided by net work input for vapor compression refrigeration system, and that will be equal to this one, which is refrigeration effect of Carnot cycle minus area A2 divided by W net for Carnot cycle plus area A1 plus area A2 plus area A2. If I rewrite it like, suppose if I rewrite it, so this will be equal to, if I take from here Re Carnot common, refrigeration effect of Carnot cycle into 1 minus area A2 divided by refrigeration effect of Carnot cycle divided by, and you can see from here that COP of the vapor compression refrigeration system is not only a function of the temperature limits of this condenser temperature and evaporator temperature, just like in case of your reversed Carnot refrigeration system. It is not possible, it is not here, it is not valid here. And this COP of the vapor compression refrigeration system also depending upon this area A2, A1, A2, and these are depending upon the nature of the working fluid. How, if for different working fluid, different this superheat horn and throttling loss will be there. So the COP of a vapor compression refrigeration system is not only a function of the temperature limits, but it is also a function of the working fluid, working refrigerant which is flowing inside the cycle. You must remember it. So if I take from here net work input for the Carnot cycle common, so inside we have 1 plus, this is area A1 plus area A2 divided by net work input for Carnot cycle, divided by net work input for Carnot cycle. Now what is this? What is this? Refrigeration effect of Carnot divided by W net of Carnot. This is COP of Carnot cycle. COP of Carnot cycle. So if I divided it here, so we can say from here that COP of vapor compression refrigeration system divided by a COP of Carnot cycle is equal to, here what is left, 1 minus area A2 divided by refrigeration effect of Carnot cycle divided by 1 plus area A1 plus area A2 divided by net work input for Carnot cycle. And if you remember from your discussion in the thermodynamics that what is this COP of vapor compression upon COP of Carnot? What is this? This is a COP upon maximum COP, and this we known as if you remember second law efficiency. This is known as second law efficiency. We already talk about what is the significance of second law efficiency and what is the expression of second law efficiency for the turbine, for heat exchanger. We already know this. So this is known as second law efficiency, right? And we already discussed in the thermodynamics that what is the need of the second law efficiency and what is the difference between first law efficiency and second law efficiency. We all know this. So this is the comparison between your Carnot cycle, reverse Carnot refrigeration system rather than you can say, and standard vapor compression refrigeration system. And we already see that how the refrigeration effect will decrease in case of vapor compression refrigeration system if I replace the isentropic expansion with the process isenthalpic expansion using a throttling device. So this is the basic concept and basic difference between vapor compression refrigeration system and the reversed Carnot refrigeration system.